He was down to the final four of its World Champion tournament, and Sammy Guevara is one of the last men standing. Hell fight Jon Moxley on the September 14 episode of Wednesday Night Dynamite for the right to advance to the tourney's final. That'll occur at Arthur Ashe Stadium during the Grand Slam episode of Dynamite in 2 weeks. Bryan Danielson and Chris Jericho make up the other half of the bracket and will also wrestle on September 14. Tony Khan could take the final in a handful of directions. Bryan Danielson hasn't been involved in the AEW World Championship picture since early January. Many of the American Dragons supporters believe it's high time that changes, as Hess spent the last several months putting over younger talents. Moxley vs. Bryan would be interesting, given that they are both members of the Blackpool Combat Club. Of course, the whole motivation of that group is to make each other better, so a match between those two would make sense. Jericho is another safe option, as Hess still working as a heel and would give a main event level face a champion worth chasing. Moxley, Danielson, and Jericho are all known commodities for holding championship gold, even if Bryan hasn't held AEW's top prize yet. With CM Punk going nuclear on AEW following All Out and Kenny Omega suspended for an indefinite time, it could make sense for Tony Khan to try Guevara as champion between Grand Slam and Full Gear. AEW needs to start pushing homegrown stars. Moxley, Chris Jericho, and Danielson have another obvious thing in common. They all grew to fame in WWE. That's not to take anything away from them, but eventually, AEW will need to begin pushing its homegrown talent. Too often, the younger all-elite performers fall to the wayside while safe, bankable stars such as Punk and Moxley win the titles. Up until recently, that's made a lot of sense. But with All Out falling short on pay-per-view buys and the media scrum garnering more attention than the card itself, it might be suitable to try something fresh with Guevara. He doesn't need a long championship run for it to matter. The message putting Guevara over at Grand Slam would be resounding, however. The odds are good that as AEW fans read this, they're having a gut reaction one way or the other. Most of the audience would probably hate seeing Sammy win the World Championship, which might make it a solid short-term booking decision for AEW. He'd be a marvelous and squirrely Seth Rollins type of heel for a face to chase for a few weeks before dropping the belt at Full Gear. And Tony Khan would have a better idea of what kind of champion Sammy could be in the future. It'd be a nod of confidence to one of AEW's brightest up-and-coming stars, and given what the old standbys have been up to lately, the time might be right for a dramatic shift.